do not leave. Just wait around few minutes. Okay. Okay. So first of all, can I excuse me? Can I make sure whether you can hear my voice clearly and see the notes, the video clearly? Or just wait a minute. Just wait, students. Okay. Okay. So students, tell me whether my voice is clear enough or the video is clear enough and those kind of thing.
It's clear, sir.
It's clear, no? Right. Okay. So there are around 20 students. So I think we should start the class. Right. So right. So what we are going to right. So what we are going to look at the today, the vector space, right? The vector space we had done. The subspace, okay, definition. Let me write it down here. Definition of subspace. Subspace. Right. Now, before that, now in R3, we know the vector space in R3, right? So something like that, right? So R3 and vectors are very important, as you know. Motion vectors has two basic properties: length in calculation in engineering and mathematics. We already know in the application, physical application. The length and the what's length and the direction, no? Right. So in the motion in A level, what you had done, motion, and everywhere we use motion, force, and everywhere you use vectors, right? So if you consider the motion in 3 dimension, you can consider vectors in the R3, right? Now, sometimes the motion may be something like this way. Now, say you have a plane which goes through the plane, okay, origin. So this is a plane, okay. So this is a plane. Now, suppose now you know frictional forces. If it is some kind of angle, the object moving through slides through this angle, okay, the plane. So motion of that one. So whatever the object which is move on this plane, okay. So those kind of thing. Now that means it's true that plane is in the R3, but the motion is on this plane. It's something not exactly go through the R3, okay. So in that case, this plane we can consider as an subspace, okay. It is a I mean, it has some several properties, right? That's what we're going to look at. So this plane again looks like act as a vector space, okay. Now vector space, Now I think what you had now R3 is the vector space. Okay, vector space. In the vector space, we have a subset, let's call S. Okay, so in the R3, we have a subset. Okay, sometimes this subset may have the vector structure. Now R3 is a vector structure, vector space. Okay, in the vector space, we may able to sometimes find a subset. That subset may have the same vector structure, vector space, same vector space. So something like that subset also behave like a vector space. Now, for example, this one, this plane is a subspace. It has an properties of the vector space. So therefore, we can focus on the motion or whatever thing only on this plane. That plane also work as an subspace. So the idea is the idea is if you have a subset of a vector space, in which case this subset form a vector space. In which case this one form a vector space. Okay, in which case this one form a vector space. So all the subset may not be work as an vector space. So some of the subset may work as an vector space. So those are the things what we're going to look at next. That's called the subspace. Okay, vector space, subspace. Right now, let me write it down the definition. Okay, so let me write, let capital S be a non-empty, be a non-empty. So non-empty is important. Non-empty subset. Non-empty subset of a vector space, right? Vector space V. So S is an non-empty. I mean, if it is an empty, there's nothing to discuss. Okay, so therefore it's very important to have a non-empty subset. That means at least it has an set element, one element. If you consider subset non-empty subset S, and suppose that subset S is itself a vector space under the operations of addition and scalar multiplication defined on V, then S is said to be a subspace. Subspace of V. Right now, so that's the definition. Let me explain again this one. So we have a vector space V. So V is a vector space. That means vector space means it has an two defined operation. One is vector addition, the other is scalar multiplication. Together with those operations, that means vector addition and scalar multiplication, this V satisfies 10 axiom. If it satisfies 10 axiom, we call this one form a vector space. That's all. Okay, that one we discussed. Now that's not what we're going to look at. We are going to take a subset. Okay, so S is a subset of, okay, this S is a subset of V. Now our question is whether this subset S has the same properties in the vector space. It may not have, may not be. Okay, it may have and it may not have. So that things what we're gonna look at. So if that set has the same vector structure, then we call this S as a subspace. Right now, let's see what this definition says. Let S be an non-empty. Right. So let S be a non-empty subset of space V, and suppose S itself a vector space, right? So S itself a vector space. If S itself a vector space, vector space should have two operations, addition and multiplication, right? Now we already know V is a vector space, therefore it has an addition and scalar multiplication. Now we are focusing on S. In order to be S is a vector space, there should be a defined two operation, which is addition and scalar multiplication. So what should be the addition and scalar multiplication here? Now V has an addition and scalar multiplication. S is a subset of V. Therefore, the same way addition and scalar multiplication defined on V, we can consider the operation in here. No? So therefore, we don't need to define new thing. If you like, you can define, but in the subspace mean consider the addition and multiplication defined on the V on S. Okay, that's why S itself a vector space under the operation of addition and scalar multiplication. It has been defined on V. Okay, right. So S has now V is a vector space over addition and scalar multiplication. Okay, vector space. Now S. Now what we are looking whether S is a vector space, right? So in order to be vector space, we should have addition, scalar multiplication, right? Now can we say this is a vector space? This is a vector space. Now can we say S is a vector space? Now it has addition and scalar multiplication. That's fine. Can we say now this is a vector space? If it is not, what's the reason? Right. So addition and scalar multiplication is not enough. It has to satisfy 10 axiom, no? Right. So here is addition and scalar multiplication enough. Now we want to check whether it satisfies the 10 axiom. If it satisfies, it's a vector space. Otherwise, not. Okay. So that's the thing we want to look at. Now it says now subspace mean suppose this one satisfies all the 10 axiom. Okay, all the 10 axiom. Then it's become a vector space. Now this vector space we call as a subspace. Okay, so remember subspace. So subspace is a subset of the vector space which has a vector structure, vectors form, right? So now if I complete, that means let S be an non-empty subset of vector space. Suppose that it's S itself. Suppose that S itself a vector space. Okay, vector space under the operation of addition and scalar multiplication. Okay, if it is so, if that subset form a vector space, then that subset S normally we call as a subspace. Okay, so remember subspace mean subspace has a vector structure, right? Now let me write down note. For any vector space V, the subsets 0, just this additive identity element, one element, 0, and the whole set V is a subspace. Okay, so it doesn't matter the what kind of element in vector space, whatever the vector space, 0 element, okay, it has just the one element, 0 element, and this whole set also technically vector space. Okay, so 0 element and the V whole set automatically form a subspace. It doesn't matter the R2, R3, Rn, any given operation. If you have any given vector space, definitely you can find two subspaces. One is 0 element, one is whole set. Okay, so it's an obvious statement. 0 is a subspace. Whether 0 is subspace or not, maybe not quite clear, but definitely we can prove. So anyway, so whatever the vector space, always you have two subspaces. We may have more than two subspaces. Okay, it depends on the nature of the vector space. Anyway, all the time we have these two subspaces. Therefore, these are called trivial subspace. That means obviously those are subspaces, right? Those are called trivial subspaces, right? Next one, right? Now let's look at okay, we have another thing. So trivially, whole set V, and the 0 element is in a subspace. We may have other than trivial subspace. Okay, it depends on the problems. So those are the important, and these are called proper subspace. The subspaces the subspaces other than 0 element and we are called proper subspaces. So those are the important thing. Okay, proper subspaces, right? Normally in R3, any line goes through the origin is a subspace. Any plane goes through the origin is a subspace. Those kind of things, right? So proper subspace means any subspace other than trivial subspaces, right? Now let's look at an example. Okay, let W be the set of matrices of the form 0, 0, 1, 2, sorry, A12, A21, A22, 2 by 2 matrices. So that means all the 2 by 2 matrices with real entries. Okay, suppose real entries, even though it's a complex entries same. The first element, first entry is 0. Rest can be any value. Okay, so right, if W be the any matrices with the first entries are 0, the other can be anything. So then this W, okay, this is a subspace of M2 by 2, okay, matrices. Right, now I think in the example on the last time we did something like M23, no? M23, that means all the matrices with 2 by 3. This is an vector space under the addition vector, the matrix addition and matrix scalar multiplication. Okay, we prove this one. So similarly, any matrices 2 by 2, okay, Now in this question, 2 by 2, no, okay. Any matrices form a any 2 by 2 matrices form a vector space, okay. Vector space, the addition is usual matrix addition and matrix multiplication with scalar, okay, right. So this is a vector space. Now what we are giving, the W is a subset, okay. This is a vector space, W is a subset, now subset. Now the question is whether this one is a vector space, okay, right. So in order to be this one vector space, addition and multiplication has to be defined. So we consider the usual addition and multiplication defined on here. That means the usual addition and multiplication, the scalar multiplication, right? Now what we want to check, whether it's going to satisfy 10 axioms, okay. If this W satisfies 10 axiom, then it has an properties of the vectors, the vector space. Therefore, I can say W is a vector space, or in other words, subspace of M 2 by 2 vector space. Okay. So what you need to check whether it satisfies those 10 axiom, right? So I'm not going to do that one, and you can see it's going to satisfy all the 10 axiom. Okay. For example, so what are these 10 axiom? So these 10 axioms, okay, this is what we did on the last time. So consider any that means x now only the let me do only two things. First one, okay, so W1, suppose W1 is 0, A 1 2, A 2 2, A 2 1 2 2, and W2 is A0, B12, B2, B21, B22, right? Now we want to check from here whether if I take two elements from the subspace that we are claiming, then whether it's addition also in the V. That means now we want to check whether W1 and W2 are matrices. This is in W. Can we say this if I add those matrices is on W? Let's check, just add. Okay, if I add addition of two matrices, which is 0 plus 0, here A12 plus B12, B21 plus B21, then B22, A22 plus B22. Okay, is this one is in W? So what are the elements in the W? Elements in the W's are only first entry has to be 0, other can be anything, no? So here first entry is 0, so therefore this is true. Okay, the other elements are anything, it doesn't matter, it has to be real or complex based on the situation, right? So therefore this W, this subset satisfies the first axiom. Okay, and similarly second, third, fourth, and all we can check it satisfies all the axiom. Therefore this is an W has an the subset W has an W satisfies all the properties or all the axiom in the vector space. Therefore we can say W is a vector space, or the correct word should be subspace. So W is a subspace of all the 2 by 2 matrices. Okay, all the 2 by 2 matrices also form a vector space. That vectors subspace W is a subspace of this vector space, right? Now that's fine. Now let's move ahead. This theorem, right? Now we are good. Up to now, we know what do you mean by the vector space, right? Vector space, and whether it's a subspace. Okay, right. But if I take a subspace, to prove it's a subspace, we have to check whether it satisfies all the 10 axioms. So it takes a lot of time, no? But the thing is, we already is a vector space. Therefore, some of the properties might be satisfies now in the vector space. It satisfies axioms, 10 axiom properties. Okay, 10 axiom. Some of the 10 axiom might be automatically satisfies here. Therefore, we can use that one to reduce our calculation to show S is a subspace or the vector space. Okay, so that's what is given in this next theorem. So it's a very important, okay, next theorem, and it's make calculation is very easier for subspace. Right, so let me write it down. Theorem. Let V be a vector space over a scalar or field. Okay, let me write down the both word, scalar, or sometimes we call the field F. Okay, F can be R, complex number, or real number, anything. Okay, it has to satisfy the properties of the field, right? Then a non-empty. The non-empty also important. The non-empty subset S of V is a subspace if and only if for any UV in the subset S and AB any scalars. Okay, that means any real numbers, so complex AB, then AU plus BV is an element of S. Right, now let's look at this one. So this one says S, now V is an substrate. Now this one say S is, this theorem say S is subspace if and only if, okay, AU plus BV in element. So it's very simple. If you want to prove this is a subspace, just prove this is true. That element is in here. Right now, let's read a little bit this theorem. Let V be a vector space over a field scalar, right? Then a non-empty subset S, okay, is a subspace. That means it has a vector structure property if and only if. Normally, what we're going to have, it is has an vector structure if it satisfies 10 axiom, okay, 10 properties. So if you want to prove this is S is a subspace, prove it satisfies all the 10 axioms. Now it says, this theorem says you don't need to prove that one. This is a subspace if it satisfies only this property, just one. Okay, so if you want to prove S is a subspace, you don't need to prove 10 axiom. Just prove it satisfies this this relation. That's enough. Okay, so let's see what's that relation. If I take U and V, this is U and V. If I take U and V in S, okay, U and V and S, A and B. Where A, what are A and B? A and B real number, real or complex number. Okay, so if I take two vectors, or two vectors in S, okay, and two real numbers, scalars, then the combination, linear combination of this vector with the scalar, that means AU plus BV. This one has to be element of S. That means that this combination is also belongs to S. Normally, this combination may be outside S. If it is outside S, we cannot call S is an vector space. S is an subspace. If it is belongs to S, now this has to be true for any vectors, any two vectors in the S or any scalar. Any vectors in the subspace, the subset S, and any two scalar in the real number, so complex. then then if it is satisfy this relation, then it's an vector space. Okay, so you don't need to prove all the 10 axioms. Now let's look at this one. What is AU here? What operation we have in here? In here, just tell me somebody. Yes, just tell me. Yeah, you have to tell me right now. Yeah, somebody says scalar multiplication. That's why it's better to speak. Okay, I mean, I cannot look the chat box all the time. Okay, so right now A is a what kind of thing? U is a what kind of a thing? A is an element in the S, no? So that is something like the vector, no? S is an sorry, A is a real number. That means scalar, no? So in fact, what this one means? Scalar times U. That means scalar multiplication. So scalar multiplication defined on the V. Okay, scalar multiplication defined on the V. We are using that scalar multiplication in the S as well. Okay, so S should have addition and scalar multiplication. So addition and scalar multiplication of S is the same operation in the V. Okay, so same thing here. So scalar time scalar multiply with vector, final answer is a vector, no? Right. So this is same thing. So finally this is a vector. And what we have here? This is this addition. What is this? Tell me.
Vector addition.
Vector addition, right? So this is also vector, this is also vector. So this is the vector addition. So vector addition is the vector addition defined on the V. Okay. So this is a vector, this is a vector. The result also vector. That vector should be in the S. Okay. So it's very simple. The idea, I mean, the calculation make very this make very life easier. Right now, let's try to prove this theorem. So this is an if and if and only if. It take little long, but anyway, let me quickly try to prove. It will take little time. First, so the proof. This part. Okay, that means suppose S is an subspace. Right. So let S, which is non-empty, S is non-empty. Okay, S equal empty means don't worry about the notation. So S is empty mean normally we write this way, no? S, this is empty. If it is non-empty, we write is not empty. So that means it has one element. So let S be such that it's non-empty and and S be a subspace. Now what we are looking, which direction? This one, no? Okay. So this is the proof. S is a subspace, then AU plus BV belongs to S. The other way is, if AU plus BV in the S, then S is a subspace. So first we are looking on the this direction. That means we are taking S is a subspace. Okay, then we need to prove satisfy this one. Okay, that part is easy, right? Now let's see. Let S be a subspace. Then to prove this one, let's take any U and V in the S, and A and B are scalars, right? Now for any UV element from the S and scalars, okay, U and V from the S, from the subspace, okay, A and B from the real number, complex number, okay, scalars. Then what can you say about AU, right? Right. Now, what can you say about AU? A is an real number. Okay, let me write down real number. U is an S. Now, what can we say about AU? Can we say this is belongs to S? And remember, we are assuming we are on this direction. So that means we are assuming S is a subspace. If S is a subspace, if you take any real number and U, can you say AU is in S?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Because it is, if S is a subspace, mean it is a vector space. If you have a vector space, scalar multiplication is also belongs to S. This is true because S is a subspace. Okay. Similarly, BV also S, because this is a S is a subspace. Okay. Because the scalar multiplication is closed. Scalar multiplication is closed in the vector space. So if you want the property which I'm saying, scalar multiplication is closed, mean property number 6. You see, if it is an if x is v and lambda is a scalar, then the scalar multiplication also in the v. Okay. Now we are taking S is a vector space. Subspace means a vector space. So we are assuming that one. Therefore, AU is S. BV, sorry, this has to be BV. Okay, there's no comma. BV also S. So if you have two elements in S, what can you say about AU plus BV? Can you say this is also S? So
Yes.
this element, yes, this element also S, this element also S. So addition of two vectors also S, because it's a vector space. So therefore this is true. So automatically this is true from these properties, right? So we can say, right, then so let me write down, then AU and BV are element of S. I may write down, since S is closed under scalar multiplication. Why the S is closed under scalar multiplication? Because S is a vector space. We are assuming that one. Let S be a subspace. Subspace means a vector space, right? Scalar multiplication. Therefore, I may write down, therefore AU plus BV also in S. because it's closed under addition. Since S is closed, S is closed under vector addition, right? So that part is proved. That means what we want to prove, if S is a substrate, this linear combination of this one is an element of S. So we got that one. Okay, so this is an easy part of the theorem. The other part is the difficult part, not the difficult. We need to look at something, right? So it is little bit long, but if I try to explain, it will take, yeah. Since we are learning of, excuse me, since we are learning this linear algebraic calculation and thinking patterns the first time, it may not easy, but it doesn't say it's difficult. Anyway, let me write down quickly, because I do not I don't have a lot of time to look at this one. So this is not the most important thing, the result. Okay. So if you could understand, that will be fine. Otherwise, just simply later read the note. Okay. If I try to explain all the thing, it will take time. But right, let me go quickly. Okay. Right. So now the other part is, suppose S satisfies this condition. Okay, then we want to prove S is a subspace. That means if S satisfies this condition, we have to prove S gonna satisfy all the 10 axioms. Okay, that's the way to prove. That should be the proof, right? So let's start. Let S be a non-empty subset of V, then we need to prove S is a subspace, right? So that's the thing we want to prove. Now, since any elements belongs to S, element belongs to S are belongs to V. So that means S is a subset. No, so if I take any, that simply means if I take any element U and V S, definitely those are element in the V. No, okay, that's an it belongs to V. And what we already know, V is a vector space, and V is a vector space axioms. Some of the axioms are obviously satisfies except one, 3, 4, 6. Right now, what this one means, we want to prove S is a subspace. That means X satisfies all the 10 axioms, right? So if I take any, if you take any element in the S, automatically those elements are in the V. But we already know V has V is a vector space, therefore it satisfies 10 axiom. So therefore, some of the axiom what we need to prove in the S automatically will true because V is a subspace, but some of the things are not true. So that's what it says. So most of the axioms are true except this 1, 3, 4, and 5. Let me 1, 3, 4, and 5. So therefore, in fact, in this proof, what you need to prove, S satisfies only these 4 axioms. Okay. So you can check those whether it's true or not. You'll see those are true. Right. So let's prove to prove 1 and 6. Let any. So let's first of all look at 1 and 6. 1 is what? 1 is close under addition. S is close under addition, and 6 is the close under scalar multiplication. You see, close under scalar multiplication. So that means S is close under the operations. That's what you want to prove in the 1 and 4. So let any, to prove that one. So let any UV element of the S and the scalars. AB are scalars. Then okay, right. Then what you want to prove? We want to prove it's close under addition, close under multiplication. Now what we have here, we have this relations, no? Less relation, right? So using this relation, let's prove the close under addition and close under multiplication. Okay, so let's first use this relation. So this is the only thing, this is the thing we are assuming is true. Okay, then AU plus BV belongs to S. Okay, so if I take any 2 elements and the two scalars, then this is true. Why this is true? Because we are assuming that one. Okay, so this, in the theorem say if this one is true, then prove this is a subspace. So we can take this is true. Okay, right. So now let's now using this relation, let's prove it's close under addition and close under scalar multiplication. So let's set any scale value, suitable value for A, scalars A and B, suitable value for U and V. Right. Now set A equal 1 and B equal 1, the scalars. Okay, that gonna gives 1 times U plus 1 times V, which is U plus V in S. Let me call 1. Then the next one in here, let's set B equals 0. If I put B equals 0, we're gonna get AU plus 0V. That means AU in S, right? So that means what this one means, if you take any 2 elements, is addition also in the S. That means close under addition. If I take any element U and any real number A, AU also S. That means the close under scalar multiplication. So 1, 2 means the right. So that means we have the first and fourth axioms. Okay, right. So let me complete. Since UV in S are arbitrary, so arbitrary means anything. Okay, so these results has to be true for any given value, any vectors. Arbitrary and scalar A arbitrary 1 and 2 implies that S is closed under vector addition and scalar multiplication, right? Scalar multiplication, right? So let me see. So we need to prove 1, 3, 4, 6. So 1 and 4. 1 and 4 we prove. Then it remain to prove 3 and 6. No, right? Let's see. First, let's do 3. So scalar multiplication, that is the axioms 1 and 4. Okay. So scalar multiplication and close under addition and scalar multiplication mean we have axiom 1 and 4. Right. Now it remain to prove axiom 3. So let's see axiom 3. Axiom 3. So here the axiom 3, there is an identity element. No, there is an 0. Normally we call additive identity. There is an element special element, normally called an 0 element. So that for any given x plus 0 plus x is to be x. That means you need to find suitable element which is called 0, so that satisfies this condition. Okay, right. For that, to prove 3, since S is non-empty, that means it has at least one element. There is we can find an element. Okay, I mean, since S is a non-empty, there should be at least one element. Suppose that element is W. Okay, we have now so we had proved that S is closed under scalar multiplication. Okay, so we had proved just a moment ago it is a closed under scalar multiplication from 2. Okay, from 2. Therefore we can use that one. Therefore we can set 0 and W. So this is closed under scalar multiplication. Therefore I can set A as 0. No, okay, if I set A as 0, 0 times W, so this one is also, so I just put A equals 0. Okay, A is a scalar. No, so if I put A equals 0 and W is it's closed under scalar multiplication, then we're gonna get 0 is 0 times W, which is 0 equal to S. Okay, so this one automatically gets. Now now what is here? This is a scalar. 0 is a scalar. Why this one is equal to 0? That's fine. Now W is that's fine. Now this 0 is an also element in the V. Okay, okay, 0 times W, because scalar multiplication, this is true. True. Now this 0 is element in S, but that 0 also element in the V, because S is a subset of V. No? Right. Now let me write it down. Yeah. Next page. Now it is clear that for any u in S, u plus 0 equal 0 plus u, 0 plus u equal uy. Now, first of all, we prove now the sixth axiom says, sorry, the third axiom say we could be able to find a specific element so that specific element in that set so that it satisfies this equation. Now, okay, right, we found a specific element, okay, 0, and that specific element also belongs to S. Okay, right. So there are two things in that axiom. First, find the specific element. Okay, we did that one. Now, next thing is to prove that specific element satisfies this condition. Okay, now let's gonna prove that one, right? Now for that one, u plus 0, if I take any element in the S, okay, and u plus 0 and 0 plus u, since, why? Because we also a vector space. Now let me write it down. Since this is true, since u in V. Now if u belongs to S means S is a subset of V, no? Okay, then automatically u is also element of V. Since u, V and V is a vector space. Okay, see, if u is an element in here and V, since V is a vector space, definitely vectors from the properties of the vector space satisfy this condition. Okay, so therefore that this condition automatically satisfies from the properties of the V. Anyway, so we had that one, right? So that means we have axiom 3, right? So I don't have time to go all the details in here, so therefore let me go quickly, and later if you can, it's better to read this read this note if you like, okay, to understand all of the things, right? So where I stop, we send a vector space, therefore right, therefore we have axiom 3, right? So axiom 3 is proof identity. It's close. Axiom 3 is this one: zero vector and additive, zero vector or additive identity. So there exists an additive identity in the S. That one is true. Now then it remain, I think 3. Which one? Then it remain 1, 4, 3. Then it remains sorry, 4. I think yes, 4. 4 means additive inverse. Okay, additive inverse of S axis, right? Let's do that one. So next, so to prove to prove 4, if if any vector V is in S, then then negative 1V, negative V, okay, because it satisfies that condition of close under scalar multiplication. So, right, so this is this calculation, okay, is also in S because of the scalar multiplication is close, right? 2 scalar multiplication is close. We just prove since S is closed under scalar multiplication, therefore it satisfies all the axioms, right? Now fourth one, if you have any x, negative x also in Vn is negative x plus negative x equals 0. Right now, if I take, let's do that one. If I take if I take any element in S, since it's closed under scalar multiplication in the previous part, so -1 we also S. So that means this element is S. Now definitely from this one is going to satisfy definitely we can prove x plus negative x is 0 element. Okay, so therefore it's going to satisfy this is what fourth axiom, right? So we have proved all the things that we required since closed under multiplication. So therefore S is a subspace of V, and hence the theorem. Right. Okay, so later you just look at this note, and this proof will not come into the final exam, but it's a very good thing. Right now, let me. So what we did, let me say something. So what we did in that theorem, that theorem. Yeah. So theorem. Yeah, this is the theorem. S is a subspace if and only if it satisfies this one, right? So better to look at this notation thing. Okay. So S is a subspace if and only if it satisfies this thing. Okay. If S is a subspace, definitely this property gonna satisfy. We just proved the simple part. The other way part is if the subset satisfies this condition for any AB and any UV, definitely S is a subspace. That's the long part. Okay. And in the theorem, in the proof, that proof, right? So from this result, from this theorem, if you want to prove S is a subspace, there are two things. Okay, in the question, if the question is to prove subspace, okay, S is subspace, then you just prove the 10 axioms, or otherwise you prove this one, AU plus BV belongs to S. Here you have 10 condition, here you just have one condition. Okay, so which one it is easy? This one or this one? First one or second one? Which one is easy one? First one or second one?
Second one.
Second one. So therefore, if the question is to prove subspace, just prove this one. That's very simple. So that's the importance of the theorems. Okay, theorem makes the calculation or the makes life easier, or it's reduce the time. So that's why we're gonna study the theorem. So the proof sometimes the proof is not the important in the engineering, it's important for the mathematics students. So in the engineering students, we want to take the result quickly. Result, right. So now let's let's go ahead. Give me a time to manage my notes, right? First two, third one, right. Now let's look at specific example, right? Example. First one, let S so that elements in the R3, okay, so that X plus Y plus Z equals 0. Okay, S is a subspace of R3. So this is what we want to prove, right? Now, in order to prove this one, remember, it's very important, this one. So we let's prove this one. Let's prove. Okay, before that, now this is something like what? right? Okay, let me do it here. In R3 is a vector space. That's fine. That's what not we are looking. We have some kind of plane. So x plus y plus c equals 0 means a plane which goes through the origin. Okay, this kind of plane. X plus y plus z equals 0. So this is a plane. Now we want to say this plane. Okay, this is S. Okay, S. So this plane, I mean, it's not limited to here. Okay, it goes this way and it goes this way. Okay, it's not have this kind of finite frame. Okay, it goes. I mean, it's plane. You can imagine. Now we want to prove this is the S is a subspace of R3. In other words, S also form a vector space. Okay, so for that one, you have two methods. One is prove it satisfies all the 10 axiom, or use that theorem. Okay, that theorem says. So if you are going to use that theorem, you just need to prove two things. Okay, first one is S is non-empty. Okay, that is very important. Okay, S has to be non-empty. Second one, AU plus BV is element of S. You just prove these two things. That's all. Otherwise, you have to prove all the 10 axioms. Okay, so you just prove these two things. Now this is A, B are reals. U and V are element in this, like that way, right? So you just prove these two things, right? Now, now what is the operation here? Now, in here is what vector addition and scalar multiplication you have to use. Usual vector addition and scalar multiplication which used in the R3. Okay, if there's no such a if it in the question, if it does not says what is the addition and scalar multiplication, you can use the usual thing. Okay, right. Now let's prove this one. Okay, let's prove first it is a non-empty, right? So how you do that one? Just tell me how you say this is non-empty. Just say it has at least one element which satisfies this one. No? So which one you like to use? I can take 1 0 0 0. Let 0 0 in R3. Now let's check whether it's going to satisfy this condition. Then 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. No? Therefore, you don't need to take 0. You can take 1 1 negative 2. No? 1 1 1 plus 1 2, then 2 negative 2 0. So 1 1 negative 2, 1 1 negative 2 also in R3, and those coordinates satisfy this thing. Therefore, that 1 1 negative 2 also element in S. Okay, then therefore, so I can write down. Let me write it. Therefore, 0 0 0 is element of NS. Hence, S is an non-empty. Okay, non-empty means it has at least element. Here the element. I just prove it has an element. Right. Second property. Second one. Right. Second one, to prove next one from the theorem, the in the subspace. So let X vector, let's call how X and Y in S, X and Y S, where let any, okay, let any X and Y X where X equal, let's call A what? A1, B1, C1, and Y equal A2, B2, C2 with A1 plus B1 plus C1 equals 0, and A2 plus B2 plus C2 equals 0. Why? I just pick two elements from the S. Suppose those are A1 B. This element has to be in the R3, no? A1 B1 C1 and A2 B2 C2. Element in the X, okay, it has to be satisfied this condition, okay. So with A1 B1 C1 0 and A2 B2 C2 0, right? Now, so I just pick two elements. Now also let any reals, okay, let's call alpha beta in R. Now what we need to prove, then we want to prove alpha x, okay, alpha x plus beta y. Can I have in a minute? There's a call from the HOD. Just wait a minute, okay? Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Sorry about that. There's an official call. Right. So, right. So what we need to prove this one, no? Right. So let's do. Right now, let's consider alpha x plus beta beta y. Okay, so alpha x, let's simplify. So that means alpha a1 b1 c1 plus beta a2 b2 c2. If I simplify this one, I will end up with alpha A1 plus beta A2, then comma alpha B1 plus beta B2. If I make a mistake, just let me know. Then alpha C1 plus beta C2, right? Okay, I just simplify. Now what I want to prove, what I want to check whether this one is element of S. Okay, so first I simplify this one. I want to check whether this one is also element of S, that means closed. Okay, so how we check whether this one is element of S? You can check that you can take that point is element of X. If it is satisfies this condition, that means the X component plus Y component plus Z component value has to be, that values has to be 0. Let's check whether that elements XYZ component satisfies this condition. Okay, right. Then, so this point, this is a point in R3, no? Okay, this is the X component, this is the Y component, this is the C component. Let's check whether the addition of X component, Y component, C component is 0. If it is 0, that's if it is 0, then it's an element in that one, otherwise not. Okay, now alpha A1 plus beta, sorry, alpha A1 plus beta A2 plus alpha B1 plus beta B2 plus alpha C1 plus beta C2, which is equal, I can simplify, alpha times A1 plus B1 plus C1 plus beta times A2 plus B2 plus C2. Why I simplify this one? I want to show this is equal to 0. Now I have this condition. A1, B1, C1 is 0 because X is an element of that one. Since Y is an element of that set, the components addition of each component 0. So that's why I convert this into a C that way. Okay, now this is C equals 0. This is C equals 0 because from this one you can make this one 1 and 2, or you can write down since A1, B1, C1 equals 0 here, A2, B2, C2 equals 0. So therefore I have this one. Okay. So basically, so that's what this one means. That element also in that set, no, because the X component, Y component, C components addition is 0. So therefore, what we can have, therefore it says alpha X plus beta Y is element of S. Okay, right, that's it. So therefore from that theorem, so what we prove, we want, let's check what we had done. We want to make S is a subspace of R3. There are two things to prove. First one, S is non-empty. We prove that one. Second one, if I take any two elements, is linear combination alpha X plus beta Y has to be S. So we prove that one, no? Okay. So therefore by the theorem, so from the theorem, we have S is a subspace of V. Okay. So then we have S is a subspace of P. Right. That's it. Okay. Now how about next one? Let me give you another one. You have to prove by yourself. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes. Second one. Y equal, prove that Y equal 3x line is a subspace of R2. Now previous one is for the R3. No? Now prove this one is the R3 is a subspace of R2. Okay, so I think since you do not have note, let me write down that theorem. S is subspace. Then what you need to prove? S is non-empty. Okay. Second one, alpha x plus beta y is also S for any xy in S, and alpha betas are real source scalar. Okay. Right. So this is the question. You just prove, and this result I just write down here because you don't have to know to refer that one right now. I will upload later. So let me give you around 5 minutes. Okay, just prove this one. Prove this result. Okay, use this one or any other method. Prove that the this line is a subspace of R2. Right. So let me give you around 5 minutes. Right. Okay, students. So how about the find if? Did you prove? I think we cannot. I cannot see individually. If you like, you can share. If you, I'm not sure whether you can share the screen. If you can share, I can say whether your finding correct or not. Your proof is correct or not. Otherwise, just tell me those who in the chat box. Just type those who have got the solution quickly. Could somebody got able to get this prove this is in a subspace?
So,
Yes, questions? You can ask if you have any question also. Anybody?
this alpha x plus beta y.
I couldn't hear exactly. Just could you repeat it again? Alpha x plus.
So I proved the first one. Can you prove the second one, please?
Okay, right. I'll prove. Okay, don't worry. Right. And any students who has got the result or prove those things? This line is a subspace of R2. No one? Anybody else? Right? No one, no? Right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. First of all, you should have to be clear with the idea. Then the result is very simple. Okay, calculation. Idea is in the vector space, we taken a subset. Now the question is whether that subset has the vector structure. That means whether that subset satisfies all the 10 axioms. Okay, so we have a theorem. If it satisfies all the 10 axioms, then we call it a subspace. In other words, the vector space. It's very time wasting to go through all the 10 axioms. There's a shortcut in that theorem says. There's a shortcut. That theorem says you just prove these two things. If you could prove these two things, then we can say S is a subspace. Okay. Now remember this is two things only for the subspace. Okay. That means if you have an set to, if you want to prove this is an vector space, definitely 10 axiom. Okay. Now understand this one. If it is an set V, if you want to prove this is a vector space, you just prove 10 axiom. Okay. Now this is S. S is a subset of a vector space, given vector space. If you S is a subset of a given vector space. If you want to prove this S has an vector structure, then you just need to prove these two things, because all the things out of all the axioms, most of the things are satisfies automatically because the larger set has a vector structure, right? Anyway, just prove this satisfies these two things. Okay, that's it, right? So very simple. Now let's see. First, how? Let S as something like xy in R2 so that y equal 3x. Okay, or you can define a different way. So let's identify the set R2. Now let's prove S is non-empty. Which one? 0 0, no? If you like, x equal 0 and 1. Or let's take a different one. X equal 1. We can say clearly x equal 1, then y equal 3, no? Clearly, since y equal 3 equal 3 times 1, no? Okay, so this one satisfies this condition, right? Y coordinate, which is y, 3 times x. This is x coordinate. Okay. Right. Therefore, S is non-empty. It has at least one element. Okay. Now to prove this one, close undone linear combination. Now let me see. Yeah, somebody has, sir, can we use 0 and 0? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So 0 origin also in this set. That's fine. You can put, you only thing is you have to prove it's a non-empty. At least it has an element. Okay, right. If you use 0 and 0, that's fine. It will also work, and that's fine. Now let how okay. Now let any x1, y1, and x2, y2 two element on the S. Then x1 equal, sorry, y1 equal 3 times x1 and y2 equal 3 times x2. No, why? Because these are point in the S. If suppose, for example, this one, if this one is a point in the S, element in the S, then definitely that element x and y coordinate must satisfy this one, no? From that one. Similarly for the that one. Now, for any scalars, let's call alpha and beta, then alpha times x1 y1 plus beta times x2 y2, which is equal alpha x1 beta y1 plus, sorry, alpha y1 plus beta x2 plus beta y2. If I add these things into a 1 point, alpha x1 plus beta x2, then alpha y1 plus beta y2. Sorry. Now we want to check whether this one is an this point. Okay, this one is an element of S. Okay, to check that one, what you need to do? Then check whether is x coordinate and y coordinate satisfies this relation. Okay, if the x coordinate and y coordinate of this one satisfies this relation, then we can say this point or this element, this one is an element in S. Okay, so that's very simple. So now here x coordinate and y coordinate. Okay, how should I write down now? Now now